The Canes are being linked to Marc-Andre Fleury. Guess who comes to town on Sunday with his Minnesota Wild?
Flower.
There it
Marc-Andre
is.
Fleury. Should have bumped in with Flowers by Miley Cyrus. That's besides the point. Anyways.
I'm in. Give me the legend. I am in. It is obvious that the Canes need to do something in goal. Yesterday, we talked about it on the show. The news was kind of reported that Freddie Andersen isn't skating yet. He has the blood clotting issue. He's not even out there working on the ice. That means we're a long way away from him being ready. Right? The Canes have essentially lost the game of chicken with the blood clotting issues. It felt like when Freddie Andersen first went on the men, where he was no longer a part of the lineup because of the blood clotting issues, the game of chicken was, can we survive long enough? Can the Canes survive long enough with Kochetkov and Raanta? Then Raanta dealt with what he dealt with and got waived. Then Kochetkov, now he's hurt and he's still working off to the side one-on-one with the goalie coach rather than back in practice. So who knows when he'll be back dealing with concussion protocol. You lost, right? You thought maybe those guys could get you until Freddie Andersen came back. Freddie isn't coming back anytime soon, and those guys aren't showing the dependency, the consistency needed to be those guys, to be the ones that get you all the way there. So now it's about how do you fix it, right? Because Freddie's probably a month away once he starts skating, which he hasn't started doing, and then who knows how long after he's back in the lineup is he back to being Freddie. Fleury's contract is up after this season. The Wild aren't going to compete for anything real this season, so they would love to get an asset back, I am sure, for a very late 30s goaltender who, like I said, isn't going to be competing for anything this year with the Wild. And I want to flip what everybody's saying about it. I keep hearing if Fleury wants to ring chase, if Flower wants to go chase a ring, this could be an opportunity for him. Sure. Right, as I was reminded, we were having a conversation off air with Adam Gold, who many of you know from the Adam Gold Show directly before this one every single day, as well as pre- and post-game for Canes games. He's an insider. He's very well connected. He said, well, Fleury doesn't have to ring chase. He's got 3 of them. Right? It's not like, he's Chris Paul at the end of his career in the NBA going around thinking, I don't want to be one of the best to never win a ring. He doesn't have to cup chase. He's got 3 of them. Well, I look at it as the complete opposite. This isn't ring chasing by Fleury. This is ring chasing by the Canes.
Yep.
This is the Canes finally saying it's time. Because so many of the moves the Canes make, it's about, extending the window, opening the window, setting themselves up for the next 4 years, 5 years. It's about making sure they stay a contender. That's not what this would be. This would be a move for the next 6 months. This would be getting a player who is here to help you win a Stanley Cup this season. And you may even have to send an asset that is more long-term, right? Send a pick, send a young player, send some kind of asset that is built for the long-term in exchange for right now. And at times, you have to do that to achieve the lofty goals. You don't want to be a team that was like, oh, yeah, they were a contender for 9 straight years. It might be, all right, they were a contender for 7, but they got a cup. Trade years to go all in the year you think you have a chance. Fleury is not part of extending the window. He would not be a part. He would not help you 2 years from now. He has the 4th most games played of any goalie in NHL history. He's been in the NHL since I was in 7th grade. But the move would be about going all in on this season. Try to hoist the cup. That's where I'm at with this. Look into your heart of hearts, Don Waddell, GM. Look into your heart of hearts, Rod Brind'amour, head coach, whoever, and say, what do we need to give ourselves the best chance of winning it all? And as long as you do that, I think you're okay, resting your head on the pillow at night, right? You're okay. Win, lose, or draw. If you did everything you could to maximize the chance of a good team winning a title, you're fine. But now think of it reverse. Think of it if you don't make a big move for a goalie. This opportunity literally comes into your building on Sunday and you don't make that opportunity. You don't take it. You don't grasp it. Then say you're a second round exit. You're hanging on by a thread with the goalies right now. Say Kochetkov gets hurt again. Say Raanta gets the yips again. Say Freddie doesn't come back. Right? Any of those scenarios happen, you're going to be sitting there hitting yourself going, I wish we would have done XYZ. I wish we would have pulled the metaphorical trigger on a Marc-Andre Fleury deal. It's I guess you could call it ring chasing for the player. Maybe he wants a fourth. Maybe it's once
go out on top.
Yeah, maybe it's like once you've skydived, jumping off the highest diving board at the pool doesn't really get your juices flowing anymore. So for him, it's like if a cup's not on the line, I don't even see why we're doing it. So maybe he has to go join a contender just to get his yayas out, get his adrenaline pumping. Maybe he does want a ring chase. I know the Canes are going to have to pick a year where they ring chase. Right? It's why, if you go back to the preseason, right, and we have receipts on this show, you can go back to the preseason, and I was pushing, it's Stanley Cup or bust. Right? It's all in or all out. It's Stanley Cup or bust. I was pushing it then because I do feel at a certain point you have to do it. I oftentimes go cross sport with my analogies. Like, it does feel like the Titans are coming out on the other side of, hey, they made an AFC championship game. Hey, they were always pretty good. Hey, they leaned on Derrick Henry. They had like a 5-year run where they were pretty good. And I'm going, at any point in time in any of those years, did it feel like they pushed their chips into the middle and went for it? Or were they just content being pretty solid?
I know you brought up the situation, or you brought the scenario related to NFL or football, how it's kind of similar to Carson Wentz with the Philadelphia Eagles or Jared Goff with the Rams.
Or I would say, you're ready for state fans a little closer to home, some of the Phillip Rivers Chargers teams, like early in his career, there was a LaDainian Tomlinson year where it did feel like they were the best team in the league and they just came up short. But for the last 10 years of Phillip Rivers, it felt like they were good. They were in every game. He always had the ball down 4 with 80 seconds left, but they were never really a Super Bowl contender because they never really went all in. I don't want that to be the fate of the Carolina Hurricanes. I want them to go all in. You won the Metropolitan each of the last 2 years, right? You're pretty good. You're pretty good. At a certain point, try to go all in from pretty good to great. And I think Marc-Andre Fleury could be that. Or, again, is he the only goalie available? No, I think he makes sense because of the expiring contract, because of his age, because of where the Wild are, and because of his experience in gigantic games. I think, being around him for 6 months might really help Kochetkov. So maybe there is a long-term impact on the franchise when Kochetkov, 10 years from now after hoisting his 4th cup is like, I'll always remember what Flower told me. Maybe there is that. But all I know is focusing on this year, you're going to be kicking yourself if you don't solve the goalie situation and you don't get lucky, right? Because lucky would be Anderson gets healthy right before the playoffs and stands on his head for the whole run. But if you don't get lucky and you don't solve the goalie situation, you're never going to forgive yourself if you feel like that's the reason why this year's team didn't win a cup, especially with so many players on the last year of their contracts. They got a whole bunch of them. Beloved fan favorites on the last year of their contract. You don't want to waste that.